What's going on, everybody? Scott Bogman here for Betting Pros to give you my favorite picks and props for Week 6 of the 2025 college football season. Before I dive in here, let me remind you guys that we are brought to you by our new presenting sponsor, the Hard Rock Bet Sports app. Roll with Hard Rock Bet this season. You can sign up today with Hard Rock Bet. Place your first $5 bet, and if it wins, you'll score $150 in bonus bets on top of your winnings. That's just one more reason to check out the Hard Rock Bet app and see why it gets so many stars and such great ratings. It's our last show of the week before Sunday, so if you're looking for more insights on what you can bet before then, you can check out the Hard Rock Bet Status Hub right there in the app. Buffalo has won 13 games in a row at home. Philly has won 12 straight games at home. Maybe you combine those into a parlay. Hurts has reached the end zone in 6 consecutive games against the AFC. Plenty more where that came from, so just check it out on Hard Rock Bet. You can get profit boost for football parlays every day through Monday, back-to-back college profit boost today and Saturday, plus a profit boost for the Sunday games and another Monday night. There's new promos every single day, so no matter when you listen to this, open the app and check out what you've got any day of the week. Download the Hard Rock Bet app and make your first deposit. All right, so let's start with what happened last week. Decent week on the picks. My first bad week on the props. 6-3 on the picks. Rutgers plus 5.5 at Minnesota. We got that. They lost 31-28. Big comeback by Minnesota in that game. Over 51.5 in that as well. So we got both sides of that. USC at Illinois over 60.5. We got that one. It took all the way down to the final minute, but we got that one. The next one, next couple we did not get. Auburn and Texas A&M over 52.5. Auburn could not score. They had nothing. I thought they were going to be able to run against Texas A&M. It was Jackson Arnold doing everything. They didn't do that. A&M moved the football very well, but they just didn't punch it in once they got down there. So 16-10 was the final on that one. A weird game that I just whiffed on. Indiana minus 7.5 at Iowa. Obviously, that didn't work. It wasn't as heartbreaking for me as it was for our guy Seth, right, who took the alt line down to 6.5 and then had the safety at the end of the game. But we didn't get that one. But the rest of these we did end up getting. LSU and Ole Miss under 56.5. We got that. We took UCLA plus 6.5 on, what happens usually there in those games. The dead cat bounce for the coaches getting fired. Won that one plus 6.5. They lost 17-14. Mississippi State plus 8.5 versus Tennessee. They lost in overtime by a touchdown. And then we actually missed this last one. I forgot. This is my third loss. And this was the most annoying one. 24-21 Alabama at Georgia. There was a touchdown scored with like 7 minutes left in the third quarter to make it this total of 45. All we needed was a touchdown at that point, a touchdown and a field goal at that point, and we get there, and obviously did not happen. No more scoring after midway through the third quarter. But 6-3, we'll take that. That's a pretty decent week. Looking at the props, we were 4-5 on those. We got 2 or 3 touchdown calls. We got Haynes King, Cedric Alexander. We did not get versus Utah State, and then we got Wayman Jordan at Illinois. As far as the props go, I was right on the under for Garrett Nussmeier. I was also correct on the over for Ethan Kaliak-Manis at 245.5. But then we just bottomed out on the position players here. Washington, 107.5 rushing yards. He only had like 77. Carnell Tate only had 30 and change, 38, I think it was. 59.5 was his total. Jacob DeJesus had 4 when I needed 5. And Bernard did not hit his against Georgia either. So not a great day on the props, but good day on the picks, bringing me after that one rough week. 3 games below, 21-24. We're still 7 over on the props, 30-23. But let's get into some picks now, huh? This week I have a lot of picks, so I'm going to go through them fairly quick. My props will be at the same speed, but there's a lot I feel like I like this week. So this is kind of a spray the board, right? We're going with a bunch. Maybe we make our units a little bit lower this week since we're playing so much. So, or you just obviously, you don't have to tell me, pick and choose the ones that you like. But there's a lot I like this week more than any other week so far. So let's just start out. Michigan minus 17.5 versus Wisconsin. I also don't hate the team total under for Wisconsin at 13.5. I'm just going to make the spread my pick for the show here, but just to let you guys know, I like this one. I despise this Wisconsin offense. Like, the defense might be okay, right? Michigan has 2 weeks to prepare for this game, though. They're at home, and Washington still has shown us nothing on offense, absolutely nothing on offense. Danny O'Neal is he got most of the practice reps this week. They thought maybe we were going to get Edwards back, and he came back in the last game they played, which was also 2 weeks ago, and he threw 3 passes, but then Fickell said, we didn't save him from himself. So I don't know if that means he re-aggravated his injury or what has happened, but it looks like Danny O'Neal is going to get the start, and he has been miserable for Wisconsin so far. Michigan's defense is going to be great in this one. I think they're going to be able to run up the score, and this is a good game. You have a true freshman as your quarterback that, has been okay, but he hasn't been outstanding. So, if you start to pound these guys in the ground, get his confidence up, run it up. So I think Michigan wins this one going away by a lot. Let's go to Virginia at Louisville. We're going to go over 61.5 in this game. And look, this is just Virginia keeps scoring, and they can't stop anybody. That's kind of the thing here. Louisville's played very well on defense right now, but the strength of schedule is very weak comparatively to Virginia. And Virginia put up points on Florida State last week. So this is a letdown spot, so I don't want to take them against the spread here. I know there are some people sprinkling on the money line because they just beat FSU. This is a road game. It's going to be a little tougher. I think that it might get weird for them, but I really do love this Virginia offense, and they pace too. 13th highest, 12th highest, somewhere in that neighborhood. I have it in my notes. I don't have it in front of me right here, but I believe 12th. That's what it is. 12th highest pace, offensive pace for Virginia. I think they're going to be able to score. I think against Florida State, they proved they can score against anybody, but also I don't think they can stop anybody. So I think Louisville is going to be able to score. Miller Moss is going to put up some yards here. So over 61.5 there. All right, moving on here. I'm going to take Cincinnati on the money line against Iowa State, and I'm just doubling down. This is going to be a tight one, but Sorsby has been great. He crushes zone coverage, which Iowa State runs at a high rate. They haven't been tested by a good passer yet, and neither one of these teams has put pressure on the quarterback at all. 122nd grade for Cincy, 124th for Iowa State. 1 sack per game for each of these teams. The difference is that Iowa State runs the ball at 54.8%, and Cincy is second in run defense grade and 31st statistically. So I really like Cincy in that game. We're going to go Florida team total under 18.5 versus Texas. Look, I'm a Texas fan. You can see VY up here behind me, right? I don't typically take Texas games, but I think the one thing that we know in this game is that Florida's offense has been miserable. Texas defense has been good. I have no idea what's going to happen with Texas offense against a good defense like Florida. They could completely fold up like origami, which is why I don't really care for the spread, specifically because Texas is on the road. But I don't think Florida's going to score many points. EJ Lagway has been fairly miserable. Texas plays the run really well, and I think it's going to just be Florida, lots of 3-and-outs, lots of punting. They don't make big plays either, right? That's the thing. They're very low in the country in explosive play rates. So I just don't think Florida is going to have a lot to score this many points against a really strong Texas defense. We are going to stay in the state of Texas here, or go to the state of Texas out of Florida. Texas Tech -11 at Houston. Now, look, I've lost money betting against Houston at home this year, but I took Colorado in that instance, and that was early in the season, and they were switching their quarterback. It was too big of a reach, but Texas Tech went to Utah and won, right? I do think Houston is good, but I don't think that they're going to be able to pass very well, Connor Wigman, when Texas Tech is getting home rushing 4, and they just have been getting home rushing 4 with Bailey and Height all year. I don't think that's going to change against a weak Houston line. So I think my thought process for that Colorado game plays better against a much stronger team in Texas Tech. So picking on Houston again, hopefully they don't make me pay again. I don't think they will. I'll tell you what has been working for me, taking Mississippi State and points, right? We did it against Tennessee, and it worked last week. We're going to do it against Texas A&M. This is their first road test, right? But this is a good team, Mississippi State, and they're catching 15.5 points. We're also going to go over 55.5. Again, maybe I'm just not learning my lesson on this, right? because I lost on the over on Texas A&M last week. But we saw Jackson Arnold try to run the ball. Auburn didn't have a lot. Mississippi State has their guys. They have Booth and Bothwell. Chapin has played well enough to put up some points as well. So I like Mississippi State plus 15.5. I like their over 21.5 team total. And we like the over in this game of 55.5. That team total I'll play off to the side. It won't count for this show, but I don't hate it if you're looking around and just don't like the over in this game. Ohio State versus Minnesota, under 43.5. And you know what? I'm going to double down. I'm going to take the Minnesota under 9.5 team total. This Ohio State defense is crazy right now. Drake Lindsey has been great, but Darius Taylor has been out. Their backup running back has been out from Minnesota as well. I don't know who is going to play for them. That's going to make them incredibly one-dimensional against the best defense in the country on the road in a night game. Pass on Minnesota from me. So, the spread is really large, and Ohio State hasn't been putting up a lot of points, which is why I'm on the under here. So, we're gonna rock under 43.5 and under 9.5 on the team total. I mean, 9.5 is because, do they do more than kick 3 field goals? Can they get in the end zone? I don't think they can. I think this might be a shutout for Ohio State. So, give me the under 43.5 and give me the under team total on Minnesota. We're going to take Pitt minus 6.5 versus Boston College. This one is Eli Holstein's going to play, by the way. He was questionable going into this game, but he's going to play. And this is weirdly important for Pitt to make a bowl, right? They have 2 wins right now. They have at least 3 on the schedule if we're counting this one, right? And then they have to get maybe an upset against somebody else looking at the rest of their schedule. But they have to win this game because you don't want to count on 2 upsets to get to a bowl. So this is a very important game. I think the coaching staff is going to stress that this week, and I expect Pitt to go out and win. And if they get up, I expect them to lean on it heavily and not take the foot off the gas because they have to have this win. So we're going to go Pitt minus 6.5 at home. We're also going to take Memphis minus 20.5 versus Tulsa. Tulsa's not a bad team, but they don't have anything on offense, and Memphis has everything on offense. And I think Memphis scores at least probably 40 points on this poor Tulsa squad. I honestly think they run them out of the building. I think it's going to be a gross game, but I think they put up a lot of points, and I just don't think that Tulsa can play point for point with Memphis. So we're going to go ahead and roll Memphis and lay all those points. We're going to take points for Maryland at home against Washington, and this is the case of Washington maybe getting beat by Ohio State twice, right? They played at home. They got whooped at home. It's a physical loss that they had against Ohio State. Now they have to go all the way across the country to Maryland, who's been playing great football. They are unproven, right? They are a 4-0 unproven team. They haven't played anyone tough yet, but I think they can make a little bit of a stand at home. I think this Malik Washington, their quarterback, has been outstanding so far this year. I think that keeps Maryland in this game. I don't know if they can win it, but I think this could be a field goal. This could be an overtime game, something like that. So, I'm going to take Maryland plus the points at home with Washington going all the way across the country. And the last one I'll take before we get to the props here, Notre Dame team total over 41.5 versus Boise State. This one is just, look, Notre Dame lost those 2 games. We talked about this, right? They have to win in impressive style every single week for the rest of the year to even be in contention to get a playoff spot. So they are going to try to keep the foot on the gas. They're going to try to put up so many points. Their team total is 41.5 against a good Boise State team, and I do not care. I'm taking Notre Dame to put up over 41.5 points. The team total, or the total in this game, I believe, is 63.5, so a little bit more. I like that too. But my favorite bet in this game is Notre Dame team total because they just have to pour it on to look good in voters' eyes, and I think they're going to do that for the rest of the season. Before we get to the props, I'll remind you guys to check out the BP Discord. If you're looking to up your game in sports betting, you can join our exclusive sports betting Discord community at bettingpros.com/chat. Not only can you connect with expert handicappers who provide free picks for the NBA, NFL, MLB, NHL, player props, live betting, and more, but now you can also participate in our weekly community picks. You can cast your vote, see how your picks stack up against the experts, and track your success. do it today. Check it out over at bettingpros.com/chat. And while you're over there, download the Betting Pros app. You can track your bets, stay accountable, and level up by downloading the Betting Pros app. With Sportsbook Sync, you can automatically track your bets across all major sportsbook in one spot. Easily monitor your bet performance by sport and bet type, including game picks, props, and parlays. You can create custom betting systems to find winning trends and profitable opportunities. Get a 7-day free trial Betting Pros Premium by using JUICE, JUICE, and activating your trial on the upgrade screen. So download that BP app and check it out. All right, props. I've got 5 touchdown calls for you, 3 RBs and 2 wide receivers. We're going to go Penn State running back Nicholas Singleton at UCLA. Obviously, UCLA is a rough team right now. Yes, this is on the road, but I mean, Penn State's going to whoop up on UCLA. That's not going to be a tough game for them. We're going to go with Cameron Dickey, the running back for Texas Tech, to score a touchdown at Houston. I think Texas Tech is going to run away with that game. I think Dickey can score a touchdown in this one. Jeremiah Smith, we saw this working last week, that Sayin and Smith were finally kind of connecting. I think we see more of that. Minnesota likes to play a lot of man. You cannot man up on Jeremiah Smith. You got to double him if you're going to do that, and I think he's going to have at least one huge catch. Hopefully it gets in the end zone. Le'Veon Moss, the running back for Texas A&M, scoring against Mississippi State. Hey, look, I like Mississippi State in this game. Doesn't mean A&M ain't going to score. They're going to score a lot in this game. I think Mississippi State's defense is not great against the run. So I think that Le'Veon Moss is going to score against Mississippi State. So I am playing a little bit of both sides of that game. And then look, UNC's defense hasn't been good, so let's go with Clemson wide receiver Bryant Wesco. Yes, they got Antonio Williams back last week, but he's still gimpy. I think that Wesco has been their main guy, and I think he's going to continue to do that, and he can easily score against UNC. All right, some yardage and player props here. We're going to go, I'm doubling down on this Michigan love, right? I'm going to take Danny O'Neal under 171.5 passing yards against Michigan. He's had 120 or under against Maryland, Bama, and Miami, Ohio. He went over only against Air Force and Middle Tennessee. So those upper echelon or even halfway good defenses, he has been miserable against, and Michigan is a very good defense coming off a bye week. So that one I really like. We're going to stick to Cincy. We're going to go over 1.5 passing touchdowns versus Iowa State. He's had 10 passing touchdowns in the last 2 games, and I told you guys about Iowa State playing a lot of zone and Sorsby being able to pick them apart. Illinois running back Kaden Feagin playing at Purdue. We're going to go over 71.5 rushing yards here. Purdue is 86 in rushing yards allowed per game at 158.3. Feagin is the main guy here. He is going to get the workload. We're going to go Florida running back Jadan Baugh under 62.5 rushing yards versus Texas. Texas D is 3rd in rushing yards allowed per game at 59.8 rushing yards allowed per game. That is fewer than Baugh is given in this game. So, I mean, this is one of the better opponents that Texas has played, but they also played Ohio State. So, I don't think Baugh gets there. Too one-dimensional for Florida. Jamari Taylor, the running back for Virginia, we're going to go over 69.5 rushing yards for him versus Louisville. They unleashed him last week with 27 carries. He was physical. He was awesome, honestly. He needs to get the football more, and I think he clears this one fairly easily. And then SMU wide receiver Romello Brinson, over 62.5 receiving yards for Syracuse. Cuse is 132nd in passing yards allowed per game. Brinson has the most wide receiver snaps by a wide margin, the most targets for SMU as well. So, in review, before I let y'all go, going back to the picks, we're going Michigan minus 17.5 versus Wisconsin. Louisville Louisville hosting Virginia over 61.5. Cincy money line versus Iowa State. Florida team total under 18.5 versus Texas. Texas Tech minus 11 at Houston. Mississippi State plus 15.5 and over 55.5 at Texas A&M. Ohio State versus Minnesota under 43.5 and the Minnesota team total under 9.5. Pitt minus 6.5 versus Boston College. Memphis minus 20.5 versus Tulsa. Maryland plus 6.5 versus Washington. Notre Dame team total over 41.5 versus Boise State. The props, we got touchdowns for Nick Singleton, Cameron Dickey, Jeremiah Smith, Le'Veon Moss, Bryant Wesco. We have the unders on Daniel Neal passing yards, on Jadan Baugh rushing yards over, Sorsby passing touchdowns, Feagin rushing yards, Jamari Taylor rushing yards, and Romello Brinson receiving yards. So that is everything for me. Big slate for me this week. So we're liking it. We're growing this as the year goes on, which is exactly what we should be doing. So that is everything for me. You can follow me on Twitter at Bogman Sports. And good luck, and I will see you guys next week. Take it easy, everybody.